The NBA Draft Combine is underway and the draft convos continue, as today we have a lot to get into. Ace Bailey compares his own game to 3 NBA superstars. We'll hear about what he said. Also, one prospect starting to generate a lot of buzz. Could he overtake Ace Bailey at the 3rd overall pick? Daryl Morey gets into the Sixers' mindset on where they stand with this pick and kind of makes it sound like they already know where they want to go. So we'll hear from him, and Paul George has a hot take about Ace Bailey. We'll get into all of it, but welcome into Philly Take with RB. We started off with some intriguing news from yesterday. This kind of got buried under everything else, but let me know if you think this is little or large. The Sixers fire an assistant director of security, a senior physical therapist / assistant athletic trainer, director of coaching operations, basketball communications senior director and manager, as well as an assistant coach, Kobe Carl, and player development associate coach, Terrell Harris. So maybe Daryl Morey's actually been tapping in, because we've been saying for weeks now, you have to make a shakeup within the house. You know, something's got to happen here, whether it's the medical staff or training or whatever, but they went above and beyond. You know, the PR people out of here, trainer out of here, security out of here, assistant coach, and a developmental coach. So maybe this is them actually trying to improve the infrastructure, or maybe they're just trying to cut corners. You give me your thoughts down below. Tyrese Maxey is keeping his eyes on what the Sixers fans are saying. He is taking note of how the fan base feels after that disaster season. And he says, Sixers fans, I love y'all, never change. He adds on by saying, y'all deserve to be in the playoffs. We have to work to get back there for y'all. And I agree. I think this is good leadership. And speaking of Tyrese Maxey, I reposted a clip from Jonathan Givony of Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, and guess who liked it? Well, it was Tyrese Maxey. So maybe Tyrese Maxey is on board with the Ace Bailey pick. Maybe he is a fan of Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. Nonetheless, Tyrese Maxey sees what we're saying. He feels our frustrations, and he's ready to make change happen. So shout out to Tyrese Maxey. We all believe in him. There's been this weird commentary going around the last day or two that the Sixers should potentially trade Maxey or McCain, and I'm here to say that should not happen. 0% chance it will not happen, and you need to get that out of your head, because those two are great building blocks. They are gems, and they need to be here in Philadelphia. But ultimately, it comes down to Daryl Morey, and Daryl Morey appeared on the latest episode of the Takeoff podcast with John Clark, and here's what he said about the possibility of drafting Ace Bailey with the 3rd pick. Quote, Ace is a tremendous player, absolutely somebody we are considering. We feel very good about who we're going to pick. Ace is for sure someone we are considering. Nick Nurse was also on the radio a couple days ago. He said that between Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, you know, one of those two guys would fit very well. So it seems like the brass is high on Ace Bailey. Does this mean that they're going to skip the pre-draft workouts and the interviews and all that? I hope not, right? Like, let the process play out, no pun intended. But it seems like Daryl Morey is very confident in terms of where the Sixers are at, the player they're going to get, and he feels like they already know who they should take. But ladies and gentlemen, there's already a hidden gem climbing up the boards. His name is VJ Edgecombe. Let me know what you think about him. What are your early impressions, your early thoughts? Do you think the Sixers should go out and maybe draft VJ Edgecombe over Ace Bailey? He's starting to get a lot of buzz. I'm going to give you my thoughts on him here in just a second. But before I do that, I need to let you know about the sponsor of today's video, and that is Mando. Look, the Sixers are hopefully done stinking it up, and you should be as well. You can do that with the Mando deodorant. It is a whole body deodorant created by a doctor who noticed how body odor was being misdiagnosed and decided to create this amazing product. If you're someone like me who sweats all day long, it is perfect for you, as it is clinically proven to block odor all day. It's also proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. This is my personal favorite, as I've said before, the Mount Fuji. I love how comfortable it is. Smells really good. Very unique, smooth smells with Mando. And it's comfortable, doesn't irritate my skin. And I like how it lasts all day. Doesn't wash off or wipe off, and, you know, it just gets all over. I love the Mando. I also love the bourbon leather. And I like how they have the whole body deodorant spray that you can just spray on the go anywhere on the body. This is by far the best deodorant I've used in a very long time. It's comfortable, lasts long, and it does the job. So they are currently America's #1 whole body deodorant formula, and you have to go check them out if you don't want to stink like the Sixers did last season. Go check out the Mando starter pack on shopmando.com. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products, and free shipping. Right now, new customers can get $5 off of the Mando starter pack by using my code PhillyTake5. Use the code PhillyTake5 over on shopmando.com. Let them know RB sent you. All right, man, let's talk about VJ Edgecombe, because VJ Edgecombe doesn't stink. Matter of fact, he might be a steal in this draft, and I watched VJ Edgecombe very closely in the March Madness tournament. I never thought there'd be a chance for the Sixers to get him. I really like his game. He has a lot of athleticism. He has a lot of elite physical tools. This guy could be used in a variety of roles. He is a lockdown perimeter defender. He is a high flyer. He's one of those guys sometimes that you'll watch on both ends of the floor and you're like, how the heck did he make that play? You know, his facilitation, his ball handling are lacking a little bit. I think those can develop at the next level, but a good catch and shoot, 3-point shooter, a guy who can kind of fit into a mold of any, team identity. I really like him. And Jonathan Givony here says that the database flagged Drew Holiday as a strong physical comparison. Edgecombe has added 15 pounds in the past 2 years, and he still has more room to grow physically. Here is a little clip of VJ Edgecombe at the draft combine. So yeah, I really like this guy. I mean, last year at Baylor, he averaged 15 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 3.2 assists, as well as 2.1 steals. So again, a two-way player who can impact the game on both sides. Just a very physical player. I think his shot creation and his dribble creation off the drive definitely will improve at the next level. He's, again, still a little bit raw in those areas, but at the end of the day, I think he's a high upside prospect and just a guy who's going to be very versatile at the NBA level. So I really like him, and I think he should be potentially in the mix at 3. But the guy who everybody has been listening to and talking about is this player right here, Ace Bailey. And they asked him about his comparisons, right? Everybody got mad at me when I said that his NBA comps were KD and Paul George, which was coming from NBA draft analysts. But here's what Ace Bailey says about his own game.
From high school and even into Rutgers, you got a lot of people that have compared you to player X, player Y. I'm curious from your own vantage point, who would you compare your game to and why?
Big 3. KD, Paul George, and Jason Tatum. I mean, Paul George and Jason Tatum, their creation for them to create a shot off, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I feel like I see myself doing the same thing. Then KD mid post and him 1-2 dribbles, less straight buckets.
Now, I don't know if this is necessarily the same answer, but is that who you studied and watched to kind of mold your game
for sure,
as well?
For sure.
Tell you what, man, I just like his confidence. I like how he holds himself. And look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I've watched every game this season. I'm in the process of going back and watching a bunch of stuff. I'm not ready to declare on day one, just to try to get my thoughts out there before anybody else, who I want the Sixers to pick. But I've been on Ace Bailey for months now. I've said the race for Ace, and I really like his game. Watching some of his stuff over the past couple days, just his ability to operate at all 3 levels. And he has the elite measurables, right? It's just about how can his game translate to the next level. And the one thing that everybody keeps talking about him, relates to his ball handling and his ability to dribble drive. Whereas a guy like VJ Edgecombe may not be polished, he has done it at least consistently throughout the year. And Ace Bailey really just relies on his pull-up jumper to get buckets, right? Which is not a bad thing. I mean, he's just very good at it, right? He's great at backing down guys in the mid-range. He's great at posting guys up. He can knock down the 3 ball off the catch and shoot. Still needs to improve his numbers and his percentages. But again, he has the traits of an NBA elite forward. It's just about how can he develop over the next couple years. But I like his comparisons. I'm not trying to press this guy into being Kevin Durant or Paul George, but I like the fact that he thinks he can be a high-level wing or forward at the next level. Here was Jonathan Givony in terms of what he said about Ace Bailey. His physical tools jump off the page immediately for a wing, drawing comparisons to Jason Tatum in the historical database. Similarly big and long enough to play the 4 when he gets stronger, especially with an 8'11" standing reach. And like I said, the traits, the measurables are here. You know, everybody was saying, hey, he's not 6'10" like they said all year. Well, 6'8" 3/4" ain't that bad. 203 pounds, 7'1" wingspan, 8'11" standing reach. I mean, if you just can get this guy to improve and increase his handles and his ability around the rim, and, you know, while VJ Edgecombe may be an elite defender and potentially be a defensive player of the year one day, Ace Bailey's probably just an average to adequate defender. But if he's knocking down shots like we've seen in certain moments this year for Rutgers, I mean, he could be a not only win now player, but also a guy who can develop that over time and be a part of a really good nucleus with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. So as I'm starting to watch him early on, I'm liking him more and more. I like the way he's handling himself. He seems like a guy who has a high motor, you know, really wants to win and has that competitiveness, which I really like, which is why I find the comparisons to Ben Simmons so funny. They're saying, oh, well, Rutgers didn't go into the March Madness tournament. Yeah, well, even though Ben Simmons didn't go in the tournament, he was walking around campus like he was an MVP already. And all I've seen from Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey is, you know, high-level people and guys who are very stout, you know, and can answer questions well and seem like they really care. So I'm excited to see what happens with these two. Here's another clip at the draft combine.
Work from the ground up.
Get up, kid. Damn. Get up, Harp. Get up. Ah, good shit, boy. Good shit.
Shout out P3, man.
Go, get push, all the way. Great shot. Three ball.
Yeah, so I really like Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, and I think if people want to knock them for not making the March Madness tournament just because they were playing with guys who were not good, I mean, then we have to start knocking prospects who were in March Madness and choked out of games, you know, and withered away in the late moments, in the crunch time moments. So, look, I'm not really putting that too much on them. I think they're really good players. They're really good prospects. Here's what Dylan Harper said about Ace Bailey and his teammate, quote, from a scoring standpoint, he's a 6'10". He sees over everyone. I probably haven't seen a scorer better than him, a young T-Mac, Tracy McGrady. Dylan Harper calls himself either James Harden, Cade Cunningham, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And upon watching some stuff on Dylan Harper already, I just love his flow. I think that's the one thing that stands out to me, how he can kind of control the floor, his tempo. I think, honestly, Ace Bailey might have a higher ceiling than Dylan Harper just based on his natural skills if they can develop it, right? Whereas Dylan Harper has a really good floor. He's going to be a good player for a long time, and he's not really a guy that jumps off the charts, you know, and playing above the rim and being athletic and stuff like that, but he's a guy who can control the tempo of the game, can run an offense, and can create off the dribble better than maybe anybody else in the draft. So I think Dylan Harper is going to be a really good player, but I like that he's given support to his boy Ace. Lastly, Paul George is back. He announced that he is back to podcasting. Okay, he says it was important to start this back up to give back to the people. So officially, Paul George is back on the podcast, and he was asked about who he would take with the number 1 pick, and he actually said Ace Bailey. This was a couple months ago. He said, I think Ace Bailey is a little bit more raw talent with still a ton of upside. He said that his ceiling is higher than Cooper Flagg's, whereas Cooper Flagg's going to be a very good player for a long time. Once again, it's the risk reward, trying to bank in on an investment with Ace Bailey. So a lot of these guys think that Ace Bailey can really develop into that high-level player. Might take a couple years, but they think he could be that guy. And so far, based on everything I've seen, he's got all the measurables. He has all the traits, the attributes. It's just about putting it all together. And his numbers last year were impressive. And I just think that people are taking a little bit out of context when they talk about Ace Bailey being a ball hog and he's just a terrible tunnel vision player and he can't do this and he can't do that. I'm more excited on what he can do, and I think he could help this Sixers team. But again, we'll see how the rest of the pre-draft process plays out. So give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. How do you feel about Ace Bailey? How do you feel about VJ Edgecombe? Would Dylan Harper ever fall to 3? Give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.